Oh, oh, look, there he is. Good, this works. Because I wouldn't want you to not be able to see your answer. Okay, David, give me 1 second. And then go ahead, take a deep breath. Think of the first words you want to say. And whenever you're ready.
This can't be the way I die. This can't be the way I die. A few months ago, I was caught up in a drive-by shooting, and I was not affiliated with any of the gangs, but it was just a bad case, being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This made me appreciate my life much more, and I've always been a risk-taking, thrill-seeking person, but this just made me realize that if I want to fulfill all my fantasies, I must act upon them now. I will tell you a few things I did this summer in order to fulfill these fantasies and prove that I am a little bit of a risk taker. So first off, I'd like to tell you about the time that I went cliff diving.
Okay, really quickly. What's your name, though? Hi.
Good morning, my name is David Lima, and I'd like to share a few things about me that I did this summer in order for you guys to understand that I'm a risk taker.
And then let's go ahead and move on that first transition. So first,
I'd like to tell you guys about
just the guys?
First, I'd like to tell you all about the time I went cliff diving.
So we can? So we can?
So you guys can so you all can get to know me.
There we go. Good.
I went to a spot in Malibu, which was not too far. I was a little scared, and I knew that I've always wanted to do this, but I just knew that I wanted to do it now because our time here is limited, and you could walk out into the street and get hit by a bus and it'll all be over. Basically, when I got there, I noticed that there were two spots. One would seem to be about like half the size of the other. So the first one was about like 10, 15 feet, so about the size of the ceiling. Not too high, like a diving board, rooftop. So I jumped, and it wasn't too scary. Then I got to the second one. The second one, when you got to the top, was a lot scarier than it seemed. It was more like a 2-3 story, almost 4. And I knew I still wanted to do it, but when I looked down, I was like, oh no. About 30 seconds up there, I knew that I was going to jump eventually, so I did. And have you guys ever watched a really scary movie and had a jump scare and that feeling of that breathtaking? Imagine that for about 4 or 5 seconds. So you're like, so that feeling was great. That was the biggest rush of adrenaline, and this was actually bigger than the time I almost died. So this was crazy. It felt great. I felt so relieved. Second off, I'd like to tell you guys about my passion for motorcycles. Obviously, I'm telling you about this summer. I did not buy a motorcycle. I'm super broke. So what I did do is I ended up telling my friend, who's a little bit of a mechanic, he's worked on dirt bikes. We built a mini bike. I was going to show a picture. This mini bike took me about 2 months to make. I painted it red, looked real nice. It was about this big, but it went about 65 miles an hour. And I ended up having to put like disc brakes, which are like car brakes on it, for me to be able to come to a complete stop. That was very fun, but I had to sell that in order for me to get my car. And third off, I'd like to tell you guys about the time. I'd like to tell you all about the time I went rock climbing. Props to you because I will never do that again. My uncle is he's part of a rescue team in Chile, and I went over there to one of the driest deserts in the world. It was very scary because usually, you have, Jordan might know, you have people put the knots up before you go. I was the first one that had to do that. So basically, you have a knot, and usually there'd be people that go and set up the things, which are way more trained. So my uncle taught me about these knots that I had to do a week prior, and he told me that if I didn't learn them, I would die. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm practicing, and I'm like, all right, I got it. It's a piece of cake. So when I'm over there setting up the knots, I get to the top one, and at that point, you have to get the knot nice and tight, and you have to get off the wall and straighten your legs. I'm not very afraid of heights, but when you look down and your life depends on a knot that you just made, I could barely tie my shoes, and now I have to do this. It was very scary, and that really helped me conquer all my fears. Props to you, I will never do that again. Now that I've told you all about these 3 things about my risk-taking experiences, I can't wait to hear the rest of your speeches.
Can you go back to the attention getter?
The what?
The attention getter. So to conclude, I told you about my...
To conclude, I told you guys about my risk-taking experiences due to my near-death experience that had me very frightened that I wasn't able to fulfill any of my fantasies or the things that I wanted to do.
Maybe you could leave it with a good word for us. That bus joke would have been a good one. You know, so go out today. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Go out today. Do
there
what
we
you
go.
Want. Follow your dreams.
Because
you could die by the bus.
Okay, there we go.